this must be Lynette's family, whatever. And so I then took the things that I thought were Lynette related, and I piled them up to take them home and set them on the downstairs, whatever, when you walk through the garage. It's a sort of thing where you can kind of view it. Should this then go upstairs and be hung on a wall? Is this in fact yours? If it's not yours, I don't know whose it is. Call early Monday morning. Dylan has lost his shroud. Now I'm getting texts from Kaylin, which of course I'm over the moon about at 8:30 in the morning. Dylan wants his shroud back. Okay.
That's a text.
Job one, man. Woo! I jumped up. I was in a cold sweat. I was like, I hope this kid isn't pissed. I borrowed a shroud. Tell him it was a mistake.
Text on the eBay listing.
Now you take your hat and hold it with both hands and say, "Dear Mr. Wren,
you gotta ring it.
I didn't know." And cover your own ass.
Yeah.
Do this thing where it's like, I said ask Dylan first, and he ripped it out of my hands and screamed he was going to fire me if I didn't give him the shroud to take home. So we found out urgently that the shroud was now in my possession, and it was not, in fact, Lynette's.
And Dylan referred to it as a shroud.
No, he did not. It was tapestry. I don't know. What would we call it?
I called it like an Oriental tapestry.
Right.
That's inappropriate.
Wow. Can we say that?
Now we got a serious situation here because that thing has to be transported safely back to Dylan's office so it can be balled up and shoved in a shelf. So I then announce, okay, I shall return with this shroud, this tapestry.
You got halfway here and you were running.
What time
doesn't make any sense.
What time did you send me the text, Dylan? Sorry, Kayla.
It's about 8:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
All right. So I'm looking at this text and I'm like, all right. Now Lynette is gone and Lynette has come here, so someone must have got hold of Lynette because it's not where I put it. But I don't know if she collected it and took it back or Olga put it away or where it is. But someone must have got hold of Lynette. It's urgent that you get this beach towel back to put in a corner, right?
Can we see it?
Yeah, you may.
Let's bring it
I'd
in.
love to see what all the fuss is
I
about.
don't, Dylan. I would suggest you bring that home if it's important because I don't feel like it's being displayed.
Let's see the thing.
Do you want it? Do you want to bring it home or do you have it here?
He's chit-chatting.
No. Do you have it?
Seems heated.
Yes. No.
Yeah, we have it. We're getting it.
Is it a family heirloom?
Was it bequeathed to you?
Hold on, Dawson. Where's your shroud and why isn't it proudly displayed?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's like a scene.
Yeah, I don't call that an Oriental something.
That's a table runner, right?
Yeah. It's a runner.
I mean, I have no idea what that is. Ask Christy.
Some people, Lynette has something that's very similar to that was hung on the wall.
Okay.
Means something. I don't know. Great Nanas or something. I don't know.
It's a nice
Dylan pissed?
Mandolins.
Renaissance
He's
scene.
upset, yeah.
What's he upset about?
You're just a little hard on him for this whole office thing and the.
What am I being hard? What is the hard part on me?
Well, he does. Okay.
Thank you, Caleb.
And this, he does a lot of work for the show. He really pours his heart out and puts everything into the show. He doesn't organize his.
Okay,
office.
he works hard for the show.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't work hard, or Brian doesn't work hard, or I don't work hard, or everyone
I work
works hard.
Brian works.
Okay, he works hard for the show.
Brian works.
Okay. What's that have to do with cleaning his office or not cleaning his office?
No, what it just as far as just the morale here is just getting very low with all this office cleaning. It's worrying me too. Yeah.
Well, how should we resolve this office cleaning thing?
I called you that day. It's on me. I should be assigning it to people.
But didn't I tell Dylan to clean his office?
I don't know if you personally told Dylan to clean his office or not.
Okay, Dylan, is your morale low? Do you want to take some time off?
I'm confused because if you do think I'm as fucking lazy and atrophied and stupid as you think I am, then fire me.
Okay, would you like to be fired?
I would like to have a job here where my work is respected and people don't scream at me on air for a fucking radar cord that I didn't put on a shelf, but fire me if you think I'm this stupid.
Okay, well, let's take some time off. Why don't we do that? We'll figure out the rest, if you'd like that. First off, I don't think I'm screaming at anybody. I think I've made my opinion pretty
You've openly
clear
wept.
that I would like the office clean.
Yeah.
you may not have taken the radar cord and wrapped it up with the
Jump rope.
That may be the other person I asked to clean the office. But it's still in your office. It's not being cleaned, so thus I can't find it. What am I confused about here? Other than morale is low, Brian, what would your take on this be?
I wasn't around for when you did have this conversation off the air, and you did refer to yourself as not screaming, but you were
Animated.
Animated. I don't know what the situation was. I don't know if you were.
Why do you think I was animated?
Oh no, I think you're justified.
Well, what is this? What part of this is really me being unreasonable? Dawson, you have thoughts?
I don't think you're being unreasonable.
I would like the office cleaned. Have I made that point on several occasions?
Yes.
Could one clean the office? I guess would be the answer.
Yeah, it can be cleaned. As I said, that it's on me. I should be the one assigning it. And
Why can't Dylan clean the office he works out of?
well, as you said, like when you were up there, there's a lot of stuff there that nobody knows if they can throw it away, if they can move it. It's all old, like stuff that is back there from when Donnie was here. Like we don't. It's electrical stuff. It's video stuff. Like it looks too valuable to just throw away.
All right, so it's not cleanable.
It's not that it's not cleanable, but there's still you're just still going to find things there that nobody really knows what to do with. And that room was always had that stuff for years. So it's like, why would we move it if it's been in there?
Okay,
That's the
so
place
we're
for
just
it.
going to have to move buildings, or
Yeah.
this is not. So when I give the speech about cleaning the office, and I say there'll be items that we won't be able to identify, put those in a box that says I don't know, and I will make a decision on that.
I will tell
Does
you
that
this,
not cover that aspect
you have.
of office cleaning?
I have a new world order here that I'm bringing onto the
Implementing.
implementing to the staff. Yeah, and it does involve that, and involves all the junk we have here, and it should take care of it.
I will say, I think if I can give you just some friendly advice, I think everyone here does a good job of taking care of their shit. Like most people's stuff isn't a disaster, but there's a lot of stuff around here, like Chris was alluding to, that just finds its way here, or no one knows where it came from or what it's for. And I don't think a lot of people, I don't feel empowered to make the decision like that's got to go, that stays, that. You know what I mean? Like, that belongs in a shop.
Okay.
So,
All right, but so the part where I say,
splitting hairs, but-
ask me what we should do with this stuff if you don't know where it goes, doesn't that sort of remedy that?
That would, yeah.
Well, I wasn't
but
gonna-
I will be the part that I will be the guy who answers that too, because I'll know.
All right. What I'm saying is there is an influx of junk.
Indeed.
We don't know if some of it's going to be kept. We don't know
Some
if
from
some of it is
sponsors,
going to be
some
thrown
from-
out. Some of it's going to be used.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, every once a month, one could go through that process of sorting through that stuff.
No,
Part of
little
my
mini
new
inventory.
thing, yeah.
Right. The question is, Dylan is upset and offended, but what I'm saying is I got into it with those guys months ago. Could you clean your office? Nobody really got
you're-
into it.
But you're right. So what happened was Dylan and Gabe and even Emmy would use that office. And then ever since you had that first initial thing, the only
Emmy.
person who works in there now is Dylan. And Dylan, he comes in, he goes straight to work. He's here first. He's handling a lot of the production stuff.
I understand he does things.
Yeah, I know.
I'm asking, can you clean your office as amongst those things for an hour once a month?
Yeah, that's
or
fair.
an hour every 4 months?
Yeah.
Probably less than an hour once a month.
Yeah.
Could that be included?
That should be included, and it is included moving forward.
Do you know how much shit I do that's just sort of ancillary shit? I don't ever accuse anyone of that. You don't think I'm funny or you don't think I work hard? I fucking work hard and I clean Dylan's office.
Yeah.
It's a side. It's one of the many side things I do, which everyone can do and is capable of doing. I don't think my asking Dylan to clean the office, always with the do it while you're here, don't do it on the weekend, don't stay late, just do it while you're on the clock. I don't feel
That you're
that
totally
that's
fair.
an
That's
out
totally
of
fair.
line whatever.
What feels out of line is you're putting it all on just him when it's literally everybody's mess.
Okay, but he's the only one who's in the office.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've asked it in front of you 13,000 times, too. I'm not putting it all on him. I put it on Gabe, and Gabe left. And then the last man sitting was Dylan in the office.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I'm putting it all on him. The office is 6 foot wide by 11 foot long. It's a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying what I think why he's feeling down about this is because it wasn't all his to begin with. He just happened to be the last man standing. And everybody still kind of just, whenever they get something new, they just throw it in there still. Like, it's like he'll walk in and there's just new trash in there. So like,
well, perhaps he should have a discussion with one of his coworkers about not putting stuff in his office.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying that this wasn't going to require a conversation or some effort.
I know.
Kalen showed up here. I met him here at 1 o'clock, and I left after an hour, and it was pretty much taken care of.
Kalen with thrombosis and a new baby showed up.
But also, Kalen is the de facto cleaner of the warehouse now. That's been discussed because we stopped having the cleaners come in, so Kalen will do it. He gets paid more. So there's that, too.
Okay.
Perhaps the morale isn't being helped by doing this on the air.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Makes it cold.
I'm asking if we could clean the office.
No, that's totally fair. I'm just saying why you're asking why is the morale, are people thinking, or why are they sad? I'm letting you know why I think they're feeling this way. That's all.
Because it's Dylan's job to clean it's Kalen's job to clean the office.
It's not Kalen's job to clean the office, but you're saying Kalen came in on a Saturday and he helped clean. Well, that was part of his deal.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not calling him a hero. I came in as well. We both cleaned.
Yeah, you're the hero.
Well, I want a clean office. Dawson, I don't know. Do you feel like we could get around this conversation? Dawson, you got a lot of street savvy. How do you think we could avoid this conversation?
You know, when I worked with my uncle installing kitchen appliances,
Yes.
if I didn't hand him the right tool before he needed it, I got screamed at. I think people here could see a lot of that, and it's not like they really have to read into what you want because you do tell them.
Fairly clear.
There's a lot of downtime around here.
Well,
it's a lot of downtime.
I don't need them to do it that day.
Right.
I was in here on Wednesday, and I came in on Wednesday looking for my radar detector cord. I found it. I had a small tantrum about why can't we clean the office because I now found my radar cord tied up in my jump rope. And then I left on Wednesday, and I went out of town. And then I came back on Monday, and the office had not been touched. And then we had another discussion about cleaning of the office. And then I came in the following Saturday with Kalen.
Right.
So there's a good chunk of time in there to approach this situation. I don't know, break it off into chunks. Do 20 minutes on a Monday and 20 minutes on a Wednesday and 20 minutes on a Friday. I think an hour would get it done.
I will say, as someone who has struggled my entire adult life and childhood with making some easy tasks seem way bigger than they are, like Kalen, Kalen, are you still there? And Dylan, if you're listening, if you're still under this roof, I will help you. This is. Hold on a second. Remember when I said if I was mayor or a new mayor or a new governor or a new someone, all you have to do is just make a couple cosmetic improvements right away, and people are like, wow, that guy's making changes, and it's not much. Like, paint the buses, polish the street signs, whatever. It's just some little change, and it's like, oh, this guy's really on top of things. Just go to Home Depot, get like 10 clear plastic bins. They're probably $3 each. Put a little label on them, say cords, whatever, battery, whatever those things are, and just start putting stuff in bins. That's such a simple start to the fix. You're just putting stuff in bins and making it look organized, and it is kind of organized, and you got a handle on what's in there.
How could you get to the Home Depot?
It's 300 yards away. Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay. Dawson, this all sounds like an insane conversation to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, might I suggest this, everyone? Please compartmentalize. When I ask you to clean your office, I'm not calling you dumb or lazy, and I'm not suggesting you don't work. I'm asking you to clean the office. There's something that's going on with the younger generation about you don't know what I do around here, like you don't think I think everyone here works, and I'm asking you to clean your office periodically. That
Yeah.
they're two separate things. I don't know why it should affect your performance. How dare you? How does organize your office, how does that factor into me not thinking you work?
Well, the only thing we hear a lot of the times from you, I mean, not saying that you need to compliment us all the time, but it's a lot of complaining. I mean, that's kind of your thing too, but it's just, we hear a lot of why you're upset with us. We don't really.
You want more praise.
Yeah,
That could be
I can use
positive.
some
All right.
praise, yeah.
But don't you think if you clean the office on the 35th time I asked you to do it, it would help steps toward
Rain down praise
Yeah.
upon you.
toward that goal?
I'm going to find out.
What about never cleaning? What about never doing what I'm asking you to do? Don't you feel that interrupts the praise
Pipeline?
the
I could see
school
how
to
could that
praise
hinder some
pipeline?
of,
Do you think
some
that
of our praise
might
that
hinder
we
it
need?
a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I do tell you when things are typoed or things I want done. I also say when someone comes up with something funny or a good idea. I think I point that out.
In that hypothetical scenario.
Yes.
I'd like to put a microscope on what I guess could be called the body language of losers. You asked 3 of them to clean their office, and 2 just moved out.
I guess so.
Dawson.
Oh, man.
Dawson from the,
I guess
from the
yes.
three-point line.
Dylan is gone. Dylan has left the building, and Gabe left the building too after asking to clean the office.
Wow.
Okay.
That's not a good sign, yeah.
Well, look.
He left his shroud.
He left the shroud.
left his precious shroud.
It's a nice
Caitlin,
piece.
go bring him his shroud.
Now the shroud talk then comes back to
Anyone know if it's like an antique or a family heirloom, or why was he
where
so
was
concerned
it,
with the-
Kaylin?
It was up on the shelf in Dylan's office.
Sort of wrapped up.
Yeah, kind of wrapped up like that, but maybe 2 more times.
All right,
Tightly rolled.
Tucked
but
away,
not
tucked away.
displayed.
Correct.
All right. Now my feeling is display it or bring it back to your house and display it. It's just one more.
display right now?
Tchotchke.
Well, you know that part where we don't know what things are, what they do, as Max Pat has alluded to? The part where we're not sure what to do with stuff?
That would fall under that category for me.
It certainly did for me because I brought it back to Lynette.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there's always going to be some of that stuff, but I'd say if we cut down on it, and shrouds I think we could do.
Look, I'm all for this. Trust me. I talked to Fondelier, Gary this morning. We have a plan that we are gonna set upon.
Okay, well, make sure and write it down in double space, large
It is,
font,
no
and then
typos.
present it to. I want to go over it with Garagos.
Yeah.
Or people could organize their office without me knowing.
We got to redline it.
There's that too. But okay.
It's a step in the right direction, I think.
It's an
All
important
right.
step.
Anyway, this then led to
There's more?
the shroud. The shroud is, I said, when we were going over the show rundown today, I said to Max Zapata, did Dylan get back his Shroud of Turin? And he said, I don't know about that. And I said, oh, are you not in on the Dylan Shroud story? You did not know what the Shroud of Turin is. And he said, I don't know what I don't know what that reference is. Or I don't know that, I haven't heard of that. And then I thought, I thought everyone had heard of that. So then I did a quickie. Who has heard of the Shroud of Turin? Where is the break? Do we have the breakdown?
I have it right here.
Oh, okay. Read us the Shroud of Turin.
All right. So for yes,
No, I want the actual. I don't. I want to know the description of the Shroud of Turin. Is what I was asking. We're going to need the kind of legal.
What do you want to know?
Brian has Google open and ready.
It was the shroud placed
I have my
over
brain open and ready.
Jesus's
It's
death
it's
mask or whatever.
It's his burial shroud after
Right.
the crucifixion, and supposedly his burial shroud. I can't prove
Right,
it, obviously.
right.
Supposedly it has his visage imprinted on his image or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a holy item.
Yeah. Okay. So Max Pad did not know what the Shroud of Turin was.
Yeah.
And I said, do I know something about this? And then I thought, what is the average? So where are we at? Brian, you've heard of the Shroud of Turin.
Indeed.
Gina Grad.
All I had was I've heard of it. I think it has something to do with Jesus.
That counts.
Dawson.
I got it, but I said some lady wiped Jesus's face with it.
Yeah, but the term Shroud of Turin,
Absolutely.
you had to have heard. All right, where are we at with the rest of our group?
Matt Fondelier said he's heard of it. He thought it was like something from the Book of Mormon.
The the musical?
No, the actual book. Let's see. Gary, he says he's heard of it, although didn't know what it was. Same with DeAndrea. He's heard the term, but couldn't tell us anything about it. Then the no column, it's Kaylin, Emmy, me, Dylan, Gabe, and Sarah at the other shop.
Kaylin, Emmy,
Me, Dylan, Gabe, and Sarah.
No surprises on that list. Although Dylan, I feel like
Yeah, I think
maybe.
it's semi-obscure though, right?
Dylan went to a religious school.
It's
I also
trivia.
went to a religious school.
Well, no, it is semi-obscure, but the first 5 people we asked knew what it was. That's not the biggest river in Hungary or something. Like this is. It is trivia.
It's a thing.
I don't know if I call it semi-obscure. We're kind of split on this. I feel like the people I figured would know did know. I'd assumed you would know.
Well.
Why would I know you would know? You're good at that
Trivia.
stuff.
Trivia
But I
king.
assume that you two would know. Part of it's part of an age thing, too, I think.
Probably.
Right?
Well, it's a Catholic high school.
Oh, you did?
I most certainly did not.
Well, I went to Catholic high school, and there were never any lessons on the Shroud of Turin. So
No,
I
there
don't
never
think-
any. I never got a
don't think that's
lesson
a
in the
big
Shroud of
factor.
Turin. The reason
It's
I know what it
trivial.
is because it's just out. It's
Yeah.
kind of out.
Right.
It was.
We've lived
discussed.
long enough to know that
Yes.
15 years ago there was a news story on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
All
it
right.
real or is it from the medieval times or whatever?
All right. So the hot temp talk, which is had a discussion. Had a discussion with my daughter in the hallway last night, which was hot. She's like me. She runs hot. She does not like to sleep when it's hot.
Yeah.
Has
Very
difficulty
hard.
sleeping when it's hot. The temp read 81 degrees in the hall where the thermostat was, so it was warm.
That's warm.
She's
indoors.
got a ceiling fan that helps. The air conditioning was on the fritz on our side of the building, sort of thing, on the bedrooms, the zone where her bedrooms were, and blah blah blah. The good news for all the people that are like, oh, cry me a river with your 4 zones. 2.5 of them are always out. So for all the people that think like, oh, this guy's got it made, he's got 4 zones. I do have 4 zones. One is constantly not working. So
that's not a
it's
zone.
not really, you have the expense of the zone minus the zone. So I was working. So I had gone over to the thermostat. And I was attempting to turn it on. I got to replace them, but all thermostats are like totally counterintuitive. Like they don't even light up when they're on. They should have a little red light that comes on when it's hot, heat, and blue light
Yeah.
that comes on. It's like you're like, is this on? And you're listening, and you have
Smells
to go.
like heat.
You have to go walk by the vent and
Yeah.
shit. Like, couldn't they just put a fucking thing? Like, so many of them don't even have lights. The one that's in here, I had to pull the fucking door off of because when the
Yeah.
door's shut, there's one button on the outside that controls nothing. And you're like, you keep pushing it and pushing it, going, why is it turning on? And then you go, oh, you got to open the door.
Yeah.
No-
14
knowing-
button panel back there.
Knowing your relationship with technology, I know this is playing with fire. No pun intended. You got to get the Nest. The Nest.
I know.
I have the Nest.
I'm working
The Nest
on
is beautiful.
Life changing.
in between the theater and cleaning Dylan's office, somewhere in there. I will horseshoe in the Nest. I will work on
Worth
that.
it.
So I then.
That turns orange when it's heat and blue when it's cold.
When you walk by
I
it, it
know
lights up.
So I'm standing outside the room and I'm trying to futz with it to get it turned on. Now, what I know is when you set that thermostat for like 76 or even 77 and it kicks on, when it gets from 81 to 76, it's quite comfortable. I don't know why exactly. I don't know. At 76 feels warm, but it's not. I know it. So it's set on 72. What Natalia likes to do and Lynette used to do is just crank it all the way down, but
Yeah.
work.
No,
it's a
Gina.
Get those
fucking,
icicles going.
Don't do that.
You're pushing the cross the street button over and over and over again. You're pushing the elevator
I
floor
know.
button over and over. And if it ever does kick on or does work, it'll just run until it freezes up.
You're going to break it.
Yep.
And I've tried to explain
the air
to
that comes-
everybody, it doesn't get to 71 faster if you put it to 55. It just goes. Just put it to where it's comfortable. And if it does end up working, it won't run all night or whatever it is.
The air that comes out is just as cold, whether you set it to 55 or 75. If it's 81,
Right.
it's just going to go on for another hour and a half.
And what you're doing, well, no, what it'll do is it'll run indefinitely because
Yeah.
you'll never get it to 60.
That's a good, yeah. So
And
it's an extreme example.
You guys are treating it like it's a pot of water you're trying to boil, and it's a burner. Come on, turn it up. Let's get this going. You turning it to 60 doesn't get it to 72 fast, doesn't get it from 82 to 72 faster. It just goes past that, runs all night. It's freezing at 4 a.m. because it's now 61 degrees in your room. And I have to have this insane discussion a lot. So I was standing in the hall, and Natalia's exacerbated. You know, she says, "Oh, I'm hot," you know. And I'm like, "Oh, honey, I'm trying. Don't turn it up." I said, "It's not running. It's not running." She's like, "I'm burning up." I love that when people. It's a great thing. It's a beautiful female gene. You explain what's happening to you, and then you get to yell at the person who's trying to fix what's happening to you because this is happening to you. It's like, "I'm burning up in there," and I'm like, "I get it. I'm attempting to fix. Don't turn it down. Don't
I'm
turn
literally
it up."
boiling to death.
And so we're standing each other yelling at each other in the hall, and I'm saying, "Please listen to me. I know I'm trying to fix it. It's not running." You know, she's like, "Don't turn it up. Don't turn it up." It's not working. It doesn't matter. So she goes and slams the door, and then I have to go in there and explain that you're not allowed to talk to me that way when I'm trying to fix the fucking thermostat. And then I was like, God damn. And I remember hearing this thing from the California resources, whatever, and they're like, here's the recommended settings for when you're at home, and here's the one when you're away from home, and here's during the day, and here's at night. At night, according Max Zapata to the what? Oh, he's not in here.
He's talking to the guest right now.
Oh, okay. He's got to find the board, or the California Board of Energy or something like that.
Department of Energy or something.
You can find you find it, or tell him to just tell him to come back here and find that paper, or the official. I'll do. I'll hit this one, teencounseling.com. Good.
Nice.
I got.
For Natalia.
I wish there was a counselor on the other side of that door. She was slamming on me. It's always interesting. Like, everyone's always like, "Well, okay, listen, you're trying to help, but how are you expressing that?" It's like, I'm expressing it by saying I'm trying to fix this. Do you have to
Or
yell
by
at me
doing
while
the
I'm
thing, or by
while I'm
fixing.
trying to fix it? Do you have to yell
Right.
while I'm trying to fix it?
Not helpful.
And by the way, if I'm ever in my den and somebody wants to push a vacuum cleaner and tell me I should lift my feet off the ottoman, I won't scream at them. I'll say thank you for vacuuming my den.
That's fair.
So if you need some teen counseling, you can connect your 13 to 19-year-old with a licensed professional counselor where they spend their time on a smartphone. Starts with a short questionnaire to help them understand your teen and their needs. Then you're matched with an available therapist, and you can start communicating within 24 hours. You can review their credentials and directly communicate with the counselor. Make sure it's a good fit, easy and free to change your counselors if needed. More affordable than traditional counseling, and financial aid is available. And you can visit teencounseling.com/Carolla. Help your teen take charge of their mental health. Boy, man, today, man, whoo! If your kid's on the internet or watching the news, come on now. Got to do something for the brain, man, their mind. Adam Carolla Show listeners get 10% off the first month at teencounseling.com/Carolla. All right, so the recommendations from what? The California Energy Board or something?
Oh, it's more than that. It's Energy Star, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the U.S. Department of Energy.
Recommendations for thermostat setting at night when you're going to bed.
82 degrees.
Oh, my
Whoa.
God.
I was standing in the goddamn hall. It read 81, and Natalia had pulled a sock off, mopped her brow with sweat, and threw it at my head like a salty Molotov cocktail.
Do they want to be taken seriously? Why don't they just have a number like we all instantly like laughed or guffawed at that number? Like it's absurd. Like why not just say 77 and everyone can be happy?
What is the National Sleep Council? Like these are the people, the doctors in charge of a good night's sleep. What is
the National
optimal?
Sleep Foundation, the president of Neurology and Sleep Medicine, and Sleep.org all say that 65 degrees is ideal.
Now we're
65.
talking. Can we
Wow.
split the difference at least?
No, my feeling is that's what fucking blankets are for, man. Pull one over you. That's
No,
all-
but that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to run
them,
that all
yeah,
night,
I agree. I thought it was chick talk. Like Lynette gets cold forehead.
Oh no, I love an icy cold room when I sleep.
Oh baby,
I got that fan going.
can we just fucking put an end to this charade
Yeah,
with you and
this
what's
dance,
his nose,
this crazy
Lynette, and
dance.
all this shit? Come on, man.
Oh, I have a kid now.
You're in there
Yeah.
fucking baking.
Oh,
It's a
cooking
low
up a
carb
storm.
cookies.
I made
I'm-
homemade stroganoff over the weekend.
Oh,
How many zones you got in your pad?
One.
Would you like 4?
I would.
2.5 don't work.
I sure would. I'd sleep under the
Step
dining
on
room
up.
table.
Can you
was like-
clean an office on a Saturday?
Like nobody's business.
All
It
right.
was like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. Icicles up his nose.
So, I then I realized 82, and then I started to kind of think about it. Like, okay, this is the government. Now we live in California. We ain't too far away from the government controlling your thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
They're already telling you what days you can water.
there are many, many, many things that you would have thought many years ago were insane. Like, no fucking way. Like, if you would have told the founding fathers, like, well, if you want to build on your property, you got to ask the government if you can cut down a tree or if you have to put fencing around a tree to protect.
Permit
My
parking
property.
outside your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have thought that was insane. This isn't that insane. And the problem with the government is they got it at 82, which is, I get you do save kilowatts at 82, but you're sweating your ass off at 82 because 65 is optimal. I would also argue that unintended circumstances, you're going to get a whole bunch of people that had a rough night's sleep, and they're going to be driving to
Yep.
work, and they're going to be commuting, and they're going to be working, and there's going to be a lot of mistakes and
Yep.
injuries.
Groggy or annoyed
Frayed
or both.
nerves.
Right. There's going to be a lot of fist fights on the 405 and a lot of rear ending as well. So there's that. Also, can't we just build a nuclear power plant and get this
done with it.
fucking over with? Okay. All right. So there was that. I have much more to get into. So so we're done with the Shroud talk.
Somebody needs to get the shroud out of here.
Well, the problem with not
I want
doing
to know what the significance is of this shroud.
we never found out.
the problem with not doing things in a timely fashion is you may never organize your office, and that may work for 100 years, or I may be feverishly looking for my cord for my radar detector and find it. So you're kind of running the risk of that.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, that is going to spawn an argument because there's already a discussion about it and there's a frustration level there. And then it is going to spawn bringing home the shroud and things. You're leaving the door open to possible negative outcomes is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I found out the significance of that
Oh,
shroud.
please.
What is it?
It's Lynette's mother's from Italy. So it is Lynette's.
What?
But Dylan was holding on to it for Lynette for something, or he was doing something with it for Lynette.
The plot is so thick right now.
Oh, he was
Oh, he's
going
gonna
to.
frame it or something.
Oh, so he
Was it
was
a
going to do
secret?
it on Monday?
This is uncomfortable.
Was it a
I don't know. I
surprise for
can't
Lynette?
ask him right now.
Okay.
Was it a surprise for Lynette, or does Lynette know?
No, Lynette
Okay.
told him to go
Okay.
do
It
it.
was like for her birthday.
I'm going to
Interesting.
guess, what's the over-under on how long that's been on the top shelf balled up in the office?
Treating this very lightly.
I don't know. RJ Bell's calling in tomorrow. We could ask him.
What do we all think the over-under
That's pretty funny.
is?
Oh man.
Are we into months or years, weeks?
This year, sometime in
Well,
2019.
the office hasn't been cleaned in
Yeah.
many months, so we don't know. So my weird, and by the way, it'd be nice if I got more information because I'm like, well, it looks just like Lynette's shroud. And it's like, that's Dylan's shroud. It's like, what's Dylan doing with a shroud that looks like Lynette's shroud? I don't know, but evidently he had the same shroud.
Oh,
It's an
damn it.
oriental motif. No, it's Elizabethan. And
I
it's
had
not...
the under on 45 shrouds being said today. You just blew it, man. Damn it. I thought it was a safe bet. Honestly.
All
It
right,
was
so
a real
this is
lock.
Lynette telling Dylan to do the shroud and
Yeah.
it sitting up there.
And
All
then
right.
so you brought it back with it not in a frame, so he needed it back.
To ball up and put back on top of the shelf, never to be seen again? Okay.
Possibly.
Now, what I'm saying is when Dylan says,
It's a nice piece.
Dawson, when Dylan says, hey, man, I didn't take your radar detector cord and ball it up with your jump rope and put it on the shelf, my answer is, I'm not accusing you of that. I'm accusing you of it being 3 feet above your head every day and you never cleaning the office. I'm not saying
Yeah.
you did that. What I'm saying is whether it's cleaning the office on the weekend or doing one of many different activities, one doesn't always have to do things that are just for them. Like
I understand.
when Gabe was upset that I asked him to clean more than 33% of the office, one could expand up to 40 or 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're
Look,
allowed to walk down the street and pick up a wrapper that's not from your candy
I
bar.
guess.
Yeah, you used to get mad at me for walking by coffee mugs that weren't mine, but that were half filled with coffee. And now I walk by them, I throw them away. I don't care
Look
whose
at you
it is.
split.
He's empowered.
I dump them anyway.
I would say, look, it's not your coffee mug that's sitting on the sink half full with coffee, but if
Yeah.
you've been here for 2 hours and you walk past it, you could give it a rinse.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your office. It's our
fine.
office.
That's fine. I'm not asking anyone to do anything I don't do all day. That's when you have. Here's what I'm worried about. When you have kids, that's your whole fucking life is doing a whole bunch of shit that you're not. That's your whole life is doing a bunch of that. It's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
It's good. It's difficult otherwise. All right. Let's see who's here. Our guest here.
Yep, Nimesh is
Nimesh.
here.
Nimesh Patel. Nimesh is the one that was like famously, basically asked to leave the stage of the college.
Yeah,
or-
for- Columbia.
For no particularly good reason, because we watched the video.
Well, he threatened the audience.
Oh yeah, he did throw bottles at the audience.
All right. Do we have that vid?
Yes, we do.
Oh, all right. Should we play it? Well, maybe should we
Yeah.
play it in front of Nimesh?
Yeah, let's play it with him. Let's talk about it with him.
All right. We'll do that right after this.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
A dream come true for all you fans of Breaking Bad.
Yes, a sequel to the hit show is coming out.
Still a lot of details, though, unanswered. The Walter White detail, but we do know it focuses on Aaron Paul's character, Jesse Pinkman.
Okay, but that's not Aaron Paul that we're looking at there. So
That wasn't.
it'll be interesting to see where he fits in and all that. But if it's anything like the first one, woo-hoo, that was really good.
I gotta catch up.
You got a long way to
I got a
go.
lot of
That's a
catching up
long
to do.
series. The
I
first...
told some. Yeah, I know.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Nimesh Patel is here, not Nimesh.
Yes, sir.
Nimesh Patel is here, has an album out. Head Nimesh in charge.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in a moment. So famously asked to leave the college stage at Columbia after being offensive, I guess. What was I remember the story, but I don't remember all the details.
It was November of 2018. I was doing a college show at Columbia's Asian American Alliance, and about, let's say 20 minutes into the set, I tell a joke that was about how no one would choose to be gay if they're already black, because it's already difficult to be gay, it's difficult to be black. Who's going to sort of double down on that?
Furthering the point of the event.
Right. And
yes.
And then about 3-4 minutes later, the people that organized the event were like, they came on stage and were like, hey, we need you to go. And then we had a back and forth for about 2 minutes, which felt like 20. And then they cut my mic and I left. And then it was a whole kerfuffle.
The thing that's interesting about the super woke time we're living in is making a joke at a group's expense, gay, black, Polish, or whatever's a no-fly zone. The problem is you can't even make a joke defending the group.
That's the point.
Yeah.
By mentioning the group that you're defending, that's become a no-fly zone because these people are knee-jerky and they don't have any kind of sophistication in the comedy department. And I was sitting around a hoity-toity Carmel Valley car event at the Quail Lodge with a bunch of white people, and I had the exact same thing.
There were tons of racial jokes getting flown around.
Everyone's just sitting there in bad suede loafers, and some guy's going, "Oh, I had a Maserati 5300. It was a 55 double bubble Zagato, whatever." And then another guy's like, "I had a Duesenberg, but I sold it." And at some point I stopped. I went, "This is exactly what black people think white people do all day." Like everyone's sipping champagne, and the dumb chick at the table's like, "Oh no, okay." And I was like, "No, I'm not making fun of black people. I'm making fun of no. Okay, we heard you. We heard you. That's enough. That's enough." And I was like, "I'm making a joke at our expense." "Oh no. We heard it. No." And I was like, "Are we that? First off, when did we get this stupid?"
People hear keywords. They hear keywords and they react.
I think it's and I've been thinking about it for a while since it happened, and it just feels like, and I hate to just bring it tangential, but it feels like technology is to blame. It feels like everything in our brains is just so sped up now. Everything's just like, oh, this is what it is. Let's react this way. That's all. Because I did the same. I did a college last night at SUNY Oneota, and my college set now starts with me just talking about. I do like 15 minutes on what happened at Columbia. And I tell the joke within the set, and because I've contexted it with this is the joke that I told, and then I say, if you think about it, it's fairly progressive. Like I explain the joke, and then it's like, oh right, okay, that's what is being said. But I think we just have to slow people down, and I think technology has played a huge role in like how fast people have come to process things.
The gist of the joke is a defense of being gay, essentially, by saying, of course, if it was a choice, you wouldn't make it,
right? Because
you're the source of
if you're logical,
ridicule and whatever else. Yeah,
right.
You wouldn't choose to be black if you had a choice because you're going to be discriminated against.
Right.
It's in defense of that, obviously.
But I wasn't entitled to make it.
This is crazy. What's your nationality?
I'm Indian.
Do you get any woke points for that? I don't know. I feel like you guys are doing too good.
Yeah, I always contend that I think there's a huge subset of in terms of like wealth gap, like between the richest Asians and the poorest, that's the biggest disparity in America. But I think as a whole, we're doing okay. And so it's...
Are you saying amongst Indians?
No, amongst Asian Americans.
Asians, sorry.
Asian Americans as a whole. I'm not sure what the Southeast Asian subset is like, but amongst Asians as a whole, like the biggest wealth gap is between Asians. So like the poorest Asians do a lot worse relative to their rich peers.
So not for Italians or Irish, not as big a chasm as what you're saying?
Exactly, and that's because Asians are doing so well as a whole.
I feel like Asians are kicking ass in this country.
We're doing pretty well.
I feel like if this country, like if you take countries and you go, everyone's an athlete, let's say, but this is your sport. Because in this country, you focus on education, you focus on family, you just fucking rise to the top. Now, if you're in China or Russia, I don't know if that helps. If you're in Central America and you got to be hooked up with the drug cartel, like you being family oriented and focused on education is not going to get you to run the Medellin drug cartel.
Right.
But this country is sort of wired for Asians per se who do have a focus on education and family, and that's why there's a lot of success.
I've also traced it to like a lot of it. I've also looked at this just as like anecdotally and like read one or two books about why Asians do so well. It's like in the 60s there was LBJ lifted the Asian American Exclusion Act, and when that happened, it was sort of merit-based immigration only, and there was all these jobs in like places like Kansas and Alabama and bumblefuck places where no one else wanted to be. At the same time, in India, there was a glut of people who had educations but no jobs to implement to take in India, and so all of them came over here and just. You ever meet a doctor in Kansas that's just an Indian guy? It's like, how the fuck did you end up as a gastroenterologist in like Mississippi? And it's because that's where the jobs were. There was no gastroenterologists here. There's plenty of Indians in India that were willing to do it, and they just flew over here and came over. And that sort of trickled down to...
I got an idea for your next role.
Oh, shit.
We're going to reprise Michael J. Fox's Doc Bollywood.
Oh.
Come on now.
Wow.
Asian guy, moves to bumblefuck.
Car breaks down in Delhi.
Plastic surgeon, big time Beverly Hills, but the car breaks down in Delhi.
I'm going to get a vest.
You got to help kids with a cleft palate and the weird stuff. Now you're not doing boob jobs anymore for rich women.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Doc Bollywood. Wow. What do we think that thing did on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, it can't be very high, right?
It's charming.
It can't, but we loved Michael J. Fox back then.
45.
Only if my character can sing the Beatles will.
That'd be nice. I don't know how much that's going to cost to clear, but yeah, if we could do a couple of Beatles songs.
45.
I'll go 45.
Oh.
I mean, look, it's probably rotten, but it's not 10.
You guys both just go.
I shouted out 45. That was copied by Gina.
Okay.
Gina, you know the game works.
Are we really playing right now? Okay, 55.
How much more effort is it to say 46?
Okay, I'll be that guy. I'll one-up Brian by one. No, I would say 55.
55?
I know this was Price is Right rules. Sorry.
No, it's not.
We're just having a friendly conversation.
I'll try to guess right
55.
Please say 45.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Nimesh? On Rotten Tomatoes, Doc Hollywood.
Let's pick a percentage.
Score.
89, man.
Wow.
You got
Loves
to.
this
I'm going to
movie.
go.
Indian reviewers are coming in, man.
I'm going low, but not that low. This is Michael J. Everyone loves Michael J. 51? What did you say?
55.
I'll go 51. All right.
Whoa.
50. Oh, wait,
the people.
69.
69.
Sorry.
Wow.
69. Woo. That's a weird... That's alarmingly high for this kind of movie. It's also weird that this kind of movie is quite a bit lower with the people. Normally, this is like the critics give it a 34 and people go 71. I thought it was funny. Or
I got to be honest.
Silly
I thought you were
romantic
just pitching a remake of Back to the Future.
In some ways.
Doc Bollywood.
What the fuck?
You're a very successful Beverly Hills plastic surgeon. There's a messy divorce. You have a kind of come to Jesus moment. No, No.
Come to Dinesh.
Come to Dinesh.
Come to Ganesh.
Good.
to Ganesh, sorry.
I was there.
Come to Ganesh. No, there's that you're getting divorced. There's a chick who's yelling at you because she wants to go from a D cup to a G cup. Your mom calls and said your dad has passed away. You have to get on a plane. You go back to what town are you from?
Ahmedabad.
There you
Gujarat,
go.
India.
I was going to say that. You go there while you're walking from the airport. You got your sunglasses on. You're on your cellular phone and whatnot. You see the little poor kids with all the defects and lips, stuck
Hair
to their
lips.
nostrils and everything, and you're like brushing them off. But at some point, you lock eyes with one of them and realize you could be making a difference.
If every Indian doctor went and felt that way, the world would be an entirely different place. But I'm sure every Indian doctor goes to India and is like, we ain't ever come back to this place.
Right, but you don't. That's Act 1. That's Act 1. But in Doc Bollywood, you do go back.
You have a change of heart.
Oh, man.
You have a change of heart.
Why?
I don't know. We got to beat it out. We can't make your character
This is just the elevator
a
pitch,
greedy
Nimesh.
douche.
You're
We
the
have to-
writer.
I'm writing this?
No, you're
Fine.
starring.
You're
it.
a writer.
I fall in love with a light-skinned Indian lady.
Light skin. That's right. That's right.
And she's like, you have to help all these people.
Or we can cast a dark-skinned white lady.
Ooh.
Probably easier.
It's got to be Priyanka.
It's Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah, they're all trying to lighten themselves.
She's done.
It's
You
a thing,
guys
right?
know those things?
Yeah. There's creams and cosmetic
Yes.
stuff to do it. Yeah.
Fair and Lovely. The biggest,
Fair and Lovely.
The worst thing to happen in India forever.
We
I mean, there's a lot of bad things.
we
that
like
happen there.
we like to make fun of this country or sort of flog ourselves for being racist all the time. Like we're the only people we invented racism. Like we're the only ones or whatever. Plenty of other countries quietly up to their own shit.
Yeah.
When that falls into this department.
Oh, I
That's-
mean,
yeah.
India is no bastion of like a perfect society. India's got its huge. I mean, Narendra Modi's existence is proof that India is also as backwards as America is, if not more.
I wonder if we could figure out the perfect shade for a woman because every white chick I know is hitting a tan salon.
Oh.
The Indian chicks are putting the Michael Jackson's cream on to try to lighten it up a little bit. Fair and Lovely. There's got to be a sweet spot. See, that's why I think Brazil and that caramel-colored ass. I think I think in terms of humanity, that's
That's
the
what we're all
sweet.
going for.
Well, Sissy Spacek, Shirley Hemphill. You know what I mean? We want to meet in the middle. Are those names?
We'll find out soon enough when everyone starts fucking and
Yeah, I think we're on our way.
yeah.
Hey, Chris, Shroud of Turin, Sissy Spacek,
Yeah.
Shirley Hemphill. Quick, get a quick survey around the office. See if anyone has those reference
Well, the
points.
Shirley Hemphill is my favorite drink.
We decided that's Yoo-Hoo and Courvoisier.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got thrown off the stage at Columbia for that.
Courvoisier.
And Yoo-Hoo is Shirley Hemphill. Come on. I should get more recognition for my brilliance.
That's pretty good.
It is a good drink. All right. Oh, you don't know Shirley Hemphill is, do you?
throw
when
a
we
picture
when we
for
show you a
Nimesh.
picture of Shirley Hemphill, you'll know. So
All I know is there's a drink right now.
off the stage at Columbia.
Yes, sir.
But you're playing college. So a lot of guys are like, I'm not going back to play Sunset.
A, I want the money, and B, after Columbia happened, 3 months later, I'd already signed up to do the NACA national conference thing.
What's that?
NACA is where you go showcase to a bunch of colleges, and I figured it's like 3,000 students.
Oh, I believe if you saw the series Crashing,
Yeah.
which is not on the air anymore, but which we love with Pete Holmes, they sort of cover that whole convention. It's
Right.
kind of, I didn't, as a comedian, didn't even know about it.
Yeah, so it was my first time going, and it was 3 months after Columbia had happened. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is going to be because I'm either banned on all college campuses or too hot to touch, or everyone's like, we want you to come talk shit at our school. So I went, and luckily it had been 3 months, so I had around 3 months to like write just material about what had happened. And on top of that, I was the host of the showcase that I was on, meaning I just went first, did my act, and then brought everyone else up. And it's good. I think in the show, and Crashing Pete was the same role, but that you get the most amount of time to like do whatever you want. So I went up and I just did 15 minutes on the event itself, and half the room was like, "Fuck this dude," and the other half was like, "We can't wait to meet him after the show." And it was that's all I could do is confront it head on, because most colleges, I assume, would Google who they're bringing at this point. So
it sounds like it sounds like a pressure packed environment, getting up there in front of like potential buyers and basically dancing for the man. Like this is not a comedy club with drinks flowing and it's midnight show or anything. This is like a weird sterile environment, right?
It's 5 p.m. in the afternoon. There's 1,000 college kids and like their advisors and what have you sitting in a room that is basically a warehouse. It's not designed for comedy. It's designed to be a convention hall.
Right.
And you go up and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm first. And I said, you guys hear about this comedian that was kicked off stage at Columbia University? No, you haven't? Well, I know the story quite well because the comedian was me. And then you just hear, oh, shit. And then I retell the story.
It strikes me that comedy is more difficult when people are sitting on folding chairs. I feel like that's a marker for a more difficult comedic environment.
Yeah, bright lights.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a picture of Shirley Hemphill ready? Oh,
now I know who you're talking about.
now we know. All right. So,
Cavassier and Yoo-hoo.
That's right. Somebody listening to me.
We got a lot of bartenders listening.
Yes, but we also have mostly customers. The next time you're at an airport or Ramada Inn or any place that has a bar, please earnestly order that and make sure the bartender is on his heels. You mean like, oh, come on,
Everybody knows.
Shirley Temple?
No,
Come on, man.
Shirley Hemphill.
Are you saying Temple?
Oh, come on. How long have you been a bartender?
I've been a bartender here for 3 years. No one's ever ordered.
Just to be clear.
Really? I bet if you ask your bartender friends, they would all know what it is. Anyway.
Mitch, you know what Shirley, what's the name again?
Don't worry about it. Just get the Crevassier.
Actually, in the past, you used to say Yoo-hoo and Hennessy.
Oh, Hennessy. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's go Hennessy. Yes? Okay, let's do Hennessy
I'd give that
and
a run.
Somebody please order that within the sound of my voice and see what we can do. Now, look. Chocolate milk will work.
In a pinch.
In a pinch. Yes. You can substitute Quick, Nestle Quick out.
Why not?
If they have. They'll probably have it floating around somewhere in the back, especially if it's like a restaurant and there are kids around or something like that.
Who posted that?
So this is Dave Constantine in April did use the Nestle Quick. He put Nesquik, Hennessy, and topped with whipped cream and a brandy cherry.
He says it's a delightful dessert cocktail.
That's like a real drink.
Yeah, 1 ounce Hennessy, 3 ounce Nesquik, topped with whipped cream and brandied cherry.
Is the next photo him fighting a parole officer?
Dawson drinks one of those in the morning, one in the afternoon.
And a sensible dinner.
All right. So, you wrote for the Oscars?
I did. That was
when Chris Rock hosted?
That was my first writing job.
How was that? How'd that come about?
So I used to run a show in Brooklyn, a stand-up show called Broken Comedy with my friends Mike Denny and Michael Che. And it was in the back room.
Michael Che of SNL fame.
Yes. And Mike Denny of Pepto-Bismol jingle fame. True story. He wrote the rap jingle for
the
nausea,
new
heartburn.
one.
No, the old one, like one of the originals. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion. That was like a rap jingle for it. And he wrote it. But anyway,
year was that? Circa
forever ago. He's I think I would say he's like 40, so he's a bit older than I am. But this was pre-comedy for him. But so 2015, we were like a hot show in Brooklyn, and Chris was coming to see Langston Kerman, another comic who ended up writing on the Oscars. But Chris was late, so Langston couldn't go up, and I'm like, okay, well, it's my show. I'm going to go up now. And then as I'm deciding to go up, Chris walks in. I'm like, now I fucking have to go up.
Right.
And Matchless is notoriously a very difficult room, and for myself especially, because as a host, I'll just fuck around and just bomb and eat a dick. And
booths or folding chairs?
Wooden folding chairs.
Oh.
So
that's tough.
Yeah. So, but a perfect room for comedy. And I go up, and luckily Kevin McCaffrey went up before me and just set the room up and destroyed. And so I went up after that, and I told my first joke about I think Cecil the lion was in the news at the time. I was like, well, I don't care about lions. I have 4 chickens today. And for whatever that hit, and I heard Chris laugh, and I sort of just blacked out and did like 10 minutes. And after he told me I was funny, 3 months later, I got an email saying, "Hey, Chris wants you to write for the Oscars."
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus, how come that never happened to me?
You did write for the Oscars.
Gina, oh, that's right. Tell Nimesh we don't like black. Just talk to him about blacked out. The term blacked out.
Yeah, it's
and how
problematic.
It's problematic.
And it's a little
we just need to
toxic,
kind of
and
stop what you're doing.
we were
and
nice
just
enough to
go
invite
ahead and
you
pot
here.
his mic
Is this still
down.
on?
And
Pot
we're
his
going to go
mic
ahead and have to
down.
ask him to kill that, cancel Nimesh Patel, and thank you, excuse you, goodbye.
Yeah,
Well, this was
blacked
fun.
out is kind of a no-fly zone around here. Wow, what a dream scenario!
Oh, it was nuts.
and this isn't a. I wrote for the Oscars too because it was like Jimmy was hosting the Oscars, and I was like, "Oh, hey, do you want some jokes?" And he was like, "If you have to." And that's kind of how we worked out. But like, this is
He didn't pick you out of the chorus.
this is this is a true kind of double-blind taste test here.
Yeah.
You know, he just stumbled upon you and went, "That guy brings it."
I attribute most of my career to luck.
Yeah.
And just sort of because that was my first real writing job, right? Where I'd written a few things before, but it wasn't anything that the Guild was paying me for. You know, it was just, Chris was like, "You're gonna come." I was like, "This fucking is." And it's like a 20-person room, but there was like 4 or 5 of us it was like our first crazy thing, except for Michelle Wolf. Michelle Wolf was also in the room, but she was already writing on set at the time. But
how did the pitching process work for Chris in that world?
well, we all sat at a table in a giant room, and we'd all sit around. And for at first it was we were like working on what his monologue would be a little bit, and then we would pitch like sketch ideas and commercial ideas remotely, and then once
Remotely, like email them in.
email and stuff, like he had
Right.
two of his head writers would just filter everything through.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the nominations came out and there were no black nominees, it was like, oh shit, this whole thing.
I forgot about
Jackpot.
that.
This whole thing just changed because up until that point, I'm watching every movie. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what jokes can we make about Mad Max this year? You know,
Right.
but then the no nominees thing happened. I was like, oh, all right, well, Chris has this under control.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like now it's like, all right, we're all sitting in a room, and he had like a framework of what he wanted to be doing, and we would pitch jokes and ideas and what have you, and then we'd run to the store and he'd run it.
Comedy store.
Yeah, the store, and then
It's funny when he said run to the store. Like, the joke store's open. Grab everything off the shelves.
oh, we'd write during the day.
So he'd go out to the Comedy Store that night.
Yeah.
And he'd work those premises, those jokes.
Yeah, and work that that monologue. Once it became clear the monologue was the only thing anyone was going to be paying attention to, he really honed in and was like, we got to nail this and knock it out of the park.
How was that? Because I've oftentimes kind of thought about that, because when I was writing for Jimmy doesn't do stand-up, so it's like you don't get the chance to put it up on its feet, you know, that super valuable experience. Now, Jimmy can vet it in advance and put it in a prompter, and it still works, but I'm saying you get to go witness it.
Yeah.
The way the process works is, I guess you just come out and say, like, I'm hosting the Oscars. Here's some stuff I'm screwing around with.
Yeah, that
you know,
was.
bear with me.
That was it. I'm hosting the Oscars, and it was such a, for Chris, the perfect host to host in that
Sure.
situation because it's so natural for him to talk about race in that situation.
Did you have a situation which is bound to happen, which is you have a joke that you like, you pitch it, they do it, but they screw it up a little bit because it's a bunch of new material. It's impossible not to, you know,
Fucks with it a
screw
little.
things up a little bit or drop something or whatever. It doesn't get the reaction. Then the person comes off stage and goes, all right, we're not doing that one. And you're like,
That wasn't the joke.
do it right.
yeah, that could
and
work.
I bet we could make this work.
Unfortunately and fortunately not, that didn't happen. I had, I think, 2 or 3 jokes that I pitched to him that he did better.
Oh, really?
You know, I think I pitched something about acting's not brave. Brave is drinking a glass of water in Flint, Michigan. That's brave.
Right.
But I think he changed it to acting's not brave. Brave is drinking a glass of Kool-Aid in Flint, Michigan. And just that specificity, I was like,
Right.
oh shit, that makes it exponentially better.
Right. You can't make the Kool-Aid without the water.
Right. And it's just
Yeah.
like such a much funnier thing. And I think.
Can you pitch him my Shirley Hemphill joke?
No, yeah, for sure. I already wrote it down. Chris, you got a Hennessy and you.
Sarah Silverman did tell me, she goes, I love that joke of yours that you can't do, but you got to pitch it to Chris Rock, and he could do it. And I was like, I'm going to go do it. And it didn't get any reaction, but
It's such a specific reference.
it's a joke. It's not Shirley Hemphill joke.
Oh.
It's the black, I know black men are angry, which is because the world's fastest people are the world's slowest pedestrians. And if you held the Olympics in a crosswalk every year, there'd be 3 Scandinavian guys up on the podium. It's the passive aggressiveness of the slow black man walking in front of the people who can technically move the fastest are going the slowest when they're in front of your hood. And it's because they're angry. I get it. And she's
No
like,
reaction.
She's like, you got to give that to Chris, but it's a good joke, but don't give it, but not for you.
Are we going to cancel Adam after this? Or?
Yes. All right. You also write for SNL, so says Max Patel.
I wrote for SNL for season 43. I was there for...
Jeez, it's so crazy. We were just talking about this
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's about to be 45.
Season 45?
Yeah,
We're coming on to?
Yeah, 2 seasons ago.
One season there?
One and done.
How was that experience?
It was stressful, but not from the work environment. It was stressful from the fact that I wrote an update, so I was reading the news constantly. It was the first year that Trump was president for the first full year, and my brain sort of broke, just like, I cannot read news anymore. I hate especially
What do you
it's
do?
Too much information.
Now, so I'm kind of telling everybody physically, I was saying to Dr. Drew the other day, I said, how many gyms were there nationwide in like 1955? It's like 3, Jackal Lane, 3 gyms. Like now there's a gym on every corner. There's a Pilates, there's a spin class, there's a yoga,
Cycle,
there's a soul,
Orange
just
Theory.
everything, right? Why? Well, we're sedentary and we have 4 zones of air conditioning and everyone's Ubering everywhere. Right. And so we figured out we need to get something, or we're all going to get fat and atrophy.
Right.
There's a mental component to this that we've forgotten about. Everyone's just sitting home watching CNN and going out of their mind. And it's like, I'm telling everyone, go out and garden, man.
Yeah.
Go out, pick up a shovel and go outside, or get in the kitchen and make lasagna, or shut off the news and go build a treehouse. We got to do that.
I got really into plants.
Really?
Yeah, I have 30 houseplants.
Damn.
Really?
It was some kind of peaceful thing, and it brings peace into your house, and I can directly correlate it to my time at the show just from reading the news constantly, because before that I would read the news and I would pick and choose what I had to, but when it's just a flood of information coming at you because you have to digest it and then write jokes about it, I was like, I cannot keep up with this. It's too much and it's pointless at some point. Like right now I just read longform.org, which is just long-form journalism stories, and I'll keep up on some headlines, but outside, like, I don't give a shit what Trump said today, or I won't tomorrow or the next day.
It's a kind of a morphine drip that it's not good big picture, and we're in charge of the button, and we just keep tapping it and tapping it and tapping it, and it's ruining us. And people need to literally go garden. Like, you must go outside, or in the house there's a sort of internal version of that with houseplants, but like just go physically engage in some project and some movement. You could volunteer too, but it's like, go get yourself out of your environment and go get your hands in the soil and break a little sweat and be at peace and involve yourself in nature. Or go, for me, I do building projects. Like, you just go fabricate something, go build something. Like, you must do that.
Go back to human nature.
Yes, the people are so. And by the way, this is Act 2 of Doc Bollywood. He realizes he's on the treadmill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he's on the treadmill.
As he's on the treadmill, he literally sees a picture of himself. What happens is he's staring up at the TV. We have a Trump feel-alike up there, you know. We don't want to get sued, but you know what I mean. All of a sudden, there's a power outage, lightning strike, a surge. The treadmill stops. He sees his own reflection in the now blank TV
Black
set.
mirror.
And he's like, how can I exercise if this machine isn't running for me? And he's like, he has this realization. I'm supposed to be out hiking
He sees
myself.
kids running.
He sees kids with a stick.
Cleft palates.
Cleft palate kid with the hoop and the stick running and going.
And they're having a blast.
And he has to get back to his roots.
Act 2, Dot.
Yes, that's Act 2.
All right.
Do you think we can get Kumail Nanjiani to play the lead?
I'm right here, man.
Oh, this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. Oh,
Were you wanting to-
You thought.
He needs a buddy.
He needs a funny friend.
Kumail could be the one who convinces me to stay.
Yes.
That's right, the wacky friend.
We'll put a little Bollywood in it, and he's like the hitch for me in the
Right.
Right.
He is the Indian side. We also need a kind of Tom Arnold side who shares an office next to yours, who sells jewelry or something. And he's like, where are you going? There's chicks all over the place. You get paid to feel their titties. You know, he's trying to suck you back into the Beverly Hills world.
Oh, that sounds. It'll be Just Sewell. You know who that is? Oh, you gotta look him up on Instagram. This is Indian engineer who's just badass.
We need this guy to be white.
Yeah, this guy needs to be.
Because he's negative. You see what I'm saying?
He's the life you leave behind.
He's the devil.
He's the ugly white American who's saying, don't leave Beverly Hills behind. You know
Hank
what I'm saying?
Azaria.
Okay.
He's
wait,
busy playing Apu.
Would the Indian guy, could we put lightning cream on Hank Azaria? Would that be offensive?
Make him fair and lovely.
Let's make Hank Azaria fair and lovely and have him play the evil white guy.
We're ignoring the obvious answer. Gina said that he's the devil.
Tom Arnold is the devil.
Oh, Tom Arnold. Yeah.
There you go.
The devil.
He pitched himself.
All right, let me hit the Castrol Edge. You can tweet us at Castrol. Sorry, you can tweet us at Adam Carolla Show with the hashtag Castrol Challenge with your questions for Castrol Challenge. Brought to you by Castrol Edge, formulated with fluid titanium technology, reduces friction, maximizes engine performance 3 times.
Tom Arnold is the devil.
Tom Arnold is the devil. Tom Arnold is the devil. Candyman. So, 3 times better against viscosity breakdown, leading full synthetics. You got a question, Max Pata?
Yes. At Phillyman on Instagram wants to know hashtag Castrol Challenge. What car does Adam plan on buying next?
I had thoughts about.
Like a daily driver or like your next collectible?
I'm going to go collectible because Daily Driver, that's neither here nor there for me. I was watching the race at the Monterey Historics, and they have the Trans Am group, the late 60s, early 70s pony car wars. They called a bunch of Mustangs and Camaros and stuff. I don't know if you can find any of that footage, but the Trans Am group, those guys are like big V8s, pretty thin tires. They're all like kind of the same car, and they're just throwing those things around, man. I mean, they're just hauling ass in those cars. And the thing that makes it kind of cool is they're all kind of the same, which is in my group, I have all different kinds of cars, and there's a kind of there's speed. Some cars are up 200 horsepower from the other car. These guys are all equal, and they're all just driving the wheels off them. And it's the, I don't know, 66 to 71 Trans Am group or whatever it is. But I was thinking a Trans Am race car. I'm not an American car guy, but it'd be a good group to run with. They're kind of bulletproof, big kind of American cars. Kind of exciting. Good run group, and they run on Saturday. So I'm going to go Trans Am race group car, and I'd like a Mustang, but I'll take a Javelin too, maybe, and not a notchback, hatchback.
Obviously.
Type. I don't know. Find that group or something, an image.
I'm looking.
All right. Thank you, Castrol Edge. All right. I'll buy you a minute because we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll do the news with Gina and Nimesh.
There's a GT40 or brand new
all those crazy Trump tweets. Give me news with Gina Grad. Trouble in the Middle East. Celebrity drunk meltdowns. Deep news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, the New York Times reports that a judge in Oklahoma ruled on Monday that Johnson & Johnson had intentionally downplayed the dangers of opioids and ordered it to pay the state $572 million in the first trial of a drug manufacturer for the destruction that prescription painkillers cause. They wanted $17 billion, Oklahoma did, but they got $572 million. They want it to pay for addiction treatment, drug courts, other services. They said it would need over the next 20 years to repair the damage done by the opioid epidemic. And there are more than 2,000 of these lawsuits pending. So this case is expected to have a significant impact on them.
I got to tell you, from a guy who just had oral surgery yesterday and was sent home with some pain pills. You are blessed if those things don't speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take one and you just kind of makes you feel. For me, it's like
it's just got another here or there.
Doesn't really make me feel like anything.
No, it does for me.
Or makes you nauseous. Like, good for you. Like, there's people that are just like, I don't know, I smoked pot. It didn't really work for me, and it's like, good. Bullet dodged.
They made me throw up when I had them, and then it was constipated for like 2 days, and it's like, I've never taken these again.
There's a drug for that now.
You take a Vicodin, and you're like, where have you been my whole life? We got a problem. Like, I had oral surgery yesterday morning where they cut open my gum and drilled into my jaw and put a titanium bolt in there to have a cap put on it. And I didn't take an aspirin or anything. And I got it about 10:30 in the morning. And by the time I got home around 4 o'clock, I was like, it's kind of throbbing a little bit. And I just took one of their Vicodin, and it just kind of numbed it a little bit. And I just kind of got on with it. And then I was fine this morning. But man, if that shit speaks to you, it is brutal.
Well, when a certain type of person finds out that something can still hurt and you take something and you don't care, it's not that it's a painkiller, it's that you're like, it hurts and I just can't stop smiling. Brian. Well, that can go into all facets of your life with emotional pain and everything.
Well, the real problem that I don't think anyone ever anticipated, twofold. Max Pata, you can hit up Geo one of these days, or you can tell Max Pata hit up Geo, or you can, Kalen, which is, I used to yell at Dr. Drew about this in 1999. Like, of course the drug companies love that people are on a 90 Vicodin a day habit. And he'd go, no, they don't want that. And I'm like, they're in the business of selling these drugs.
Right.
The average person, like the average American, when used properly, might average 2 a year because you have dental surgery or back surgery or something, whatever. I would think of myself, I'm not a teetotaler and I'm up for fun. And I probably at that point had no Vicodins my entire life. I just had not had any surgeries or oral surgery or whatever. So they're not going to make any money off of me. But Drew is telling me story after story of guys who had a 90 pill a day habit, and I'm like, that's moving product. That's basically
90 pills a day?
Yes, because
holy shit.
You start with 2, and your body is always, what people don't understand is your body is trying to get to even all the time, the kind of homeostasis. Like it's like you lose your arm in a farming accident, your body's working really hard to get normal with losing your arm. Like in most people you get hold of in 6 months and they're kind of normal, or you lose your eyesight or whatever that is. The gift is we're all working hard to get back to the middle all the time. So your body's always trying to kind of work to get back to normal feeling. So you take 3 Vicodin and you get off on it, but 3 months later, you're back to the middle because your body's focusing. So what do? Well, you up the dosage. And then how do you get to 90? Well, that's where you get to 90. And then eventually you get to 90 to feel normal because your body's always trying to normalize. And
was Dr. Drew twirling his Oxycontin pen while he said,
I said to him, yeah, he just got
He's
back
an
from a
addiction
golf
specialist.
The check cleared.
He just got back from a convention in Maui. A couple of gals sent over to the room. And I said, of course they're moving product. And the more people that are on a 90 pill a day or 30 pill, the more people that are strung out on this product, there's going to be a lot of product moved.
Yeah, more demand.
And a very small percentage of people are going to move a lot of units, you know? And he was like, oh, no, like they don't want that. And I was like, why wouldn't they? Yeah. And he just kept fighting with me about it.
he's one of these people that believes in the good.
He's an idealist.
Not
He's a
anymore.
total jerk.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He literally just recently just went, it's fucking conspiracy. I think that's what they wanted.
You know, I watched on the plane here. Sorry, I cut you off.
go ahead.
On the plane here, I watched One Nation Under Stress, the Dr. Sanjay Gupta documentary about America's new stress epidemic. And at one point, he says we have 4.6% of the world's population and 80 to 90% of the world's Oxycontin consumption, which is just fucking mind-boggling to
insane.
me. That's how much we consume.
The thing that we never knew, sorry, I don't want to forget this. Here's what we really didn't know. I don't even know if the drug pharmaceutical companies knew this, but here's the real slippery slope and the reason this can never have a happy ending. If you get back surgery or oral surgery or whatever, and you start taking these pills because you have pain in your back, when you're done taking the pills and there is no more pain in your back, physiologically, your back will produce pain to get fed more pills. That is a never-ending cycle that you could never really count on. This notion of you have this infection, so you take a pill to get rid of the infection. But what if your body loved the pill so much that it would keep telling you I have this infection. Now the infection is gone. But your body, and because it can't be quantified or measured, when you go into the doctor and you go, my back is killing me, what are we to do? If you have a wound and the wound is healed, then the doctor will go, I've examined your wound. The wound is healed, or we've got a culture back from your blood, or your liver's fine now, or whatever it is. Back pain, who's ever been able to sufficiently explain back pain, and who has back pain?
They just have smiley faces.
And why?
They frown.
And by the way, you know, when people go like, well, I played high school ball, and I played high school football, I played 10 years of football, I did 15 years of construction, my back is fine. I have no back problems. I'm not physically blessed. I just don't have any. There's people that have back problems. I don't know how much of that is manufactured, but if you tell me someone's on Vicodin, they will always have back problems because their brain wants the hit of the opioid. And that's the insidious part. That's why it can never go away. Sorry, Brad.
Oh, I was only going to say it's crazy that people, vis-a-vis Dr. Drew and the opioid manufacturers, it's crazy that people like ascribe, corporations are good or evil, or they'll do the right thing or they'll do the wrong thing. They're just all-encompassing money-eating machines. Like they're machines that are programmed to like consume and produce money. You know what I mean? Like but it'd be as foolhardy as like saying like, there's no way the gun manufacturers aren't happy after a mass shooting because gun sales go up. Well, they probably are because they're moving more units. They're not happy people are dead, but they're happy because their products are producing more money.
But at the very least, with opioids, weren't they ever afraid they would get caught or at least called out? Doesn't that mean anything?
I don't know. And some of it isn't knowable.
Because it's happening now.
I know. I mean, look, some stuff's not knowable. We don't know how this is going to affect people on a mass scale. The best part of business is sort of like Boeing makes aircraft. Boeing tries as hard as they can to produce one at a good price point, but not to the point where they fall out of the sky because then they lose all their business. So Boeing is actively working on safety constantly because it behooves them to work on safety.
Companies that make emergency backpacks, they're thrilled when there's an earthquake because the sales spike. People, start buying emergency kits or emergency backpacks or whatever. They're not happy that there's destruction or death, but they're selling product. It's crazy to think that they wouldn't be happy.
It's like that Patrice joke. I don't know if you ever heard it, where it goes, every time there's a tsunami, there's some guy jerking off. Oh, yeah, the more cement's going to be needed.
Yeah, someone's going to benefit from this event.
He's such a slow pedestrian. God rest his soul. Yes. If you sell plywood and there's a hurricane blowing through, you're going to move more units. I get it. It really, by the way, we shouldn't be taking your temperature on whether you're happy there's an earthquake or happy there's a tsunami or happy people are consuming your product. We're just going to assume you want to move as many units as you can.
Yeah.
Whatever business you're in.
Sandbag industry.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, Pete Davidson put on a show for a crowd of University of Central Florida students, but less of a comedy show, more of a, venting, berating session.
More of a Pete Davidson show?
Yeah. TMZ says he was the headliner.
You must know Pete.
Well, I would love to see your reaction to the clip because he was this headliner for the show in Orlando Monday night, but instead of telling jokes, he blasted the audience for using their phones to film. He called them privileged little assholes. Pete went on to call everyone idiots and morons and then did a brief Q&A, but he said he only stayed because his Uber wasn't there yet. Those at the venue told TMZ there weren't any signs posted about cell phone use. The host, the MC, everybody else had their phones out. Nobody said anything. But Pete seemed to think it was common knowledge. Here's the clip. It's 90 seconds. Call your own out. You can just watch it here.
Film everything, but not enjoy the show for fucking an hour, then I don't gotta be here. I can just give them their money back because I don't give a fuck. So whenever somebody else comes to your fucking town and wants to perform and is exhausted and flies all the way to the middle of fucking nowhere to do jokes for you little privileged little assholes, don't fucking ruin the show for people who actually want to be here. That's the problem. It's because half of you did it. That's what's fucked up about our generation. They're like, yeah. It's like, wait, you were the one filming, moron. That's why we're embarrassing. That's why the world is going to end in 25 years. Because you're all fucking retarded. Yeah, I meant it that way, idiots. You should fucking grow up, okay? It says no phones, says a thing on there. It's just you're just supposed to just behave. I have to have my fucking boy patrol you guys like you're 5 years old? That's fucking embarrassing. You should grow up. Where's the next generation? We're going, don't you want adults to respect us? Don't you want your parents to be proud of you? You know how fucking embarrassing it is to be our age and walk out and know everybody thinks you're a fucking idiot? Grow the fuck up. Now I'll continue. No, I just won't be scared. Just grow up. Don't do that shit. Seriously.
All right.
Seriously. That's my time.
I'm not a fan, but you know him better than I do. He was at the last show in, I don't know, Long Island, New Jersey, where it's he told them, no Ariana Grande talk and no whatever talk. And the guy who owned the club said, all right, no, we're not going to talk about this, that, and the other. And then Pete was like, I told you not to talk about that. And he was like, I'm talking about not talking about it or whatever. And then he just left. I don't know, thin-skinned comedians. I'm kind of find that weird. I find it there's people talk, people film, people whatever. Just go out there, tell your jokes, and get paid and go home.
With this specific thing, I'm sure if it wasn't written somewhere, it should have been. But B, it's even when I did this college last night, people were filming. I'm like, don't do that. Granted, it was a much smaller room, and I could just be I could see the person's camera up. But I think whenever I've stopped someone from filming something, it's always has to be followed by an explanation as to, look, man, this is an act that at some point will be on a larger thing through my control, right? I will want to put this on Netflix or HBO or whatever it is at some point, and I don't need this rough version of it going out before anyone else does. And Pete's on such a level where if someone films it and it's the whole set, and then it goes up, and then it's viral. It's all right, well, there goes the money for whatever he's going to get for HBO or Netflix or wherever he's going to do it.
I'm not really the part where you film it. You shouldn't film it. For me, it's not about the material. It's more about the double chin. If you'd get up on an A-frame ladder and shoot down, if you're fucking sitting in a chair 6 feet under me, and I'm looking at you right now, I got 5 chins. Come on now. It's an aesthetic thing. It's not a material thing.
Fair enough.
I'm a pure comedian. You understand? It's all about the look.
So vain, yes.
It's all the look. It has nothing to do with the material.
Aziz has a good way of addressing that, or at least at least one of his specials. He comes out at the beginning and goes, all right, let's get this all out of the way now. Everyone get your phones. And he does these funny poses and he's in the middle of telling jokes. He calls somebody a racist and reacts, and he goes, "Okay, now put your phones away."
Right. Do you think we could get him to play Doc Bollywood? Does anyone have any? Do you have an Aziz
I know
connection?
someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
very
can you
little
call
juice,
that
but I'll try.
someone?
Absolutely.
I'll text Aziz.
Do you know Aziz? Because that would
That would be great.
I do know Mr.
If we could get him
That'd be a grand
attached, that would be huge.
I will call him if that gets me an EP credit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Consulting.
fine. No problem.
And once he's there, someone's got to get him his coffee. I mean, we need him to be comfortable. You know what I mean?
I'll
I
do
feel
it.
like I don't want a stranger walking into that
Tea.
trailer.
He drinks tea.
Oh, tea. Well, sorry, cultural, right?
So you
well,
know,
there you
so
go.
you should be there,
That's-
getting him his tea.
What you just did? It's exactly what you do on set.
That's what we need.
Baby. I mean, with the Pete thing, I think it's funny that he puts it on himself too. It's like, look, we're idiots, and this is just proof positive that everyone thinks we're fucking morons. It's because someone says don't do something, and yet we go ahead and do it. It's like, no, I know best.
But don't you think the browbeating went on 45
There's a
seconds
lot
too
more
long?
you
You
than
could
me.
feel when he lost everybody.
I'm kind of saying, as I've always said, look, I think there's a way to say things as a comedian, especially, and try to kind of make it funny. Sort of brevity is the soul of wit. You know what I mean? Like, get it out there, and then now let's get on with it, kind of thing. I don't feel like I feel like he belabored it, but I don't know.
He may have gone on longer than he should have, but I also did when I was telling these Columbia kids that they were in the wrong. It was 45 seconds for too long to be like, I'm smarter than you guys. I know comedy better than anybody in this room. Like, relax, all of you. This is what's wrong with you guys as a group of people right now.
Yeah, but you were being dragged off stage.
I'm going to put that in a separate category,
Fair,
which
fine.
is you can dedicate a larger period of time to these idiots and what they're doing. I feel like this is a message, like somebody left their headlights on in the parking lot who's driving the Mercedes, white Mercedes, go shut it off. We don't have to belabor it as much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, a massive brawl at a water park in California involving two families, 40 people, and a beach towel started this melee.
So it was the Feigenbaums against the Greenbergs
Rosensteins.
or the Rosensteins?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Definitely not a Jew.
The yarmulkes were flying.
Pay us everywhere. Police say the fight at Raging Waters in Sacramento. Raging Waters
Been there many
started
times.
when one family allegedly took a towel belonging to a member of another family. That's all it took to spark a brawl.
Jesus Christ.
Let-
We're having full fisties at Disneyland
Yeah.
now.
Yes,
We're having
that
brawls
happened.
at
Yep.
water parks. Like, can we reel it in just a little bit, especially the amusement park
This is
stuff?
This is not even close to what's going to happen when it's going to be about water as opposed to a towel.
That's right.
I was surprised to hear that wasn't over a water shortage.
This was at a water park,
Yeah.
so quite the opposite. Left a guy unconscious in a coma. About 15 people from each family. One witness described how someone cracked a chair over the head of another person during the fight. Cops say there was alcohol involved. It's unclear whether anyone else was hurt, any arrests. The incident is still under investigation. The fight forced the entire water park to close for the day.
Who were the families?
They did not specify.
Wow.
It's under investigation.
How the fuck do 40 people fight over a towel?
A towel.
I mean, they just had a huge Donnybrook in Disneyland where this guy was punching this chick in the face.
In Toontown, where the little kids of the little kids go.
Oh, I saw that video. Yeah,
And he got
was sad.
he got charged for child abuse, child endangerment, something like that.
Yeah, it's not great to punch chicks in the face at Disneyland or water parks, but also we got to work on our conflict resolution. Like, hey, you can do the here's as much conflict as I throw down. Excuse you, that was my towel.
You
Thank
march
you.
yourself to the towel stand.
Yes, I don't rarely, especially in towels, because I feel like
They're
water
plentiful.
parks either have towels or you bring your towel. Oh, maybe they didn't have their own shroud.
Oh, that's possible.
Maybe it's a family.
I can almost
One shroud
guarantee
per
that
Maybe
it's
it's a
person.
very It was an antiquity from Grandmama in the old country.
At Disneyland, especially in Toontown, those characters are ubiquitous. How about we empower those guys to deputize those guys to keep the peace, right?
It's funny because there was a lot of people saying, where were the employees? Why weren't any of the Disney cast
Where
members?
were the cast members?
And somebody, I don't know if it was on Reddit or something, said, I can explain. I am a cast member and we are not allowed to put our hands on guests, to hug them, to pat them, to anything.
They have the mitts.
They have the mitts.
They have the mitts.
They
Of
are
course
not
they are.
allowed to touch.
You
Of course
can't
they are.
No, like the
effectively.
maintenance people,
I
not
will
like the
show you
Roger
videos
Rabbit.
of
But you
Tessa
think you
hugging Winnie the Pooh.
Not-
You think you could
not like that.
punch out Goofy or Pluto? You know what I mean? You can't cause damage. The guy's got 18 inches of foam in front of his
I think
face.
specifically they were talking about the custodial staff, the people not, in pedestrian clothes, not cartoon characters.
Yeah. Also, when 300-pound brothers are knocking out broads,
move
what
back?
did you rush toward the fight? You know what I mean? Like you're getting $9 an hour.
Don't
and
be a hero,
free
you live in your
churros.
car.
Like, yeah. Who made you the hero? When I was
$9 an hour to have $10 churros.
That's right. I was when I applied to work at McDonald's when I was 15 and a half, they show you this training video in the basement. This is stuff about where do you put your outfit and where do you punch in. You go to the back, you get dressed into your outfit, then you punch in. Like you don't punch in when you come in. You
Don't
punch
steal
in
their
after
time.
you get in your brown gi, and then you go punch in and all this shit. But like one of the things was, if there was a hostile takeover, like if somebody armed robbers came in and did a robbery, and they're showing these guys in like ski masks come running in, submachine guns, open that cash register, and like one of the things was like, don't try to stop them. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting $3 an hour here. I'm behind a grill.
You didn't have to tell me.
I might yell, take me with you, but I would never try to take a bullet like, no, that's the deep fryer. Like,
I will show them the safe.
I will walk them to the safe and show them, get them as many frozen patties as they'd like.
Fish.
Yes,
Do you
I was
want
like,
the secret recipe.
Right.
You won't be like
I'll
McDowell's
sing
from
like
Coming to America.
Yes. Yeah, that was my sort of thought at 15 and a half. It was a sort of brain of a comedian. It was like, yeah, I'm going to jump in front of a bullet because they're going to rob the McDonald's.
To save the fries.
But I think they have that same... I think that's the same
Yeah.
feeling over at Disneyland.
Oh yeah, Goofy was definitely in the corner smoking a joint. Like, yep, all right.
Cowering.
Right.
Perfect break time.
Well, none of this might matter much longer anyway. On September 14th...
Don't they have security footage of the fight or
They do.
anything?
Well, I don't know if it's security footage, but a lot of people have their cameras out, up close and
At
personal.
the water park?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Toontown.
Yeah, that I saw. I feel like the water park.
That was interesting because I think I read it on Fox, and I was like, well, I got to see this. And I was like, how is there not a video up? How
Well,
many people could have been at Raging Waters?
I'll tell you what's happening maybe. At Disneyland, everyone's got their camera phone in their hand. When you're in your trunks and
Yeah.
in the water,
It's
you're
probably
not,
in the locker.
not as much.
Yeah.
There were no people from Pete's show at Raging Water.
Yeah.
On September 14th, an asteroid will pass by the Earth that's larger than the tallest building on the planet, according to CNN. Asteroid 2000 QW7 is estimated between 1,000 and 2,000 feet tall. That's around Dubai's tallest building, Shanghai's tallest building. The asteroid will be traveling 14,361 miles an hour when it passes within 3 million miles of us. Astronomers don't believe the asteroid poses any danger, but they are tracking it. In June, astronomers showed that telescopes could provide enough warning to allow people to just move out of the way of the asteroid if it's going to strike the Earth.
I have an asteroid named after me.
Oh.
I think Drew has one.
Really?
You both do.
Didn't
Yeah.
Tom name one after?
Yeah.
Tom Burbine, astrophysicist. He could do these things. He's a Harvard astrophysicist. Either way, here's why I'm the worst person in the world. He's like, Adam, named an asteroid after you. And I was like, oh, great. What happens when it hits fucking planet? I'll go into nuclear winter. And then everyone fucking blames me. You know what I mean?
Old
thanks, but
fucking
no
Carolla
thanks.
90217.
I was like, my first thought, just because I'm think the way I think. So what if it hits the fucking planet? Like, what if it's coming at the planet? We have 3 days to live. The Carolla.
Hurricane Adam.
Like, I'm going to take us out.
Wow.
That's a very Larry David way of thinking.
It is,
so
isn't it?
ungrateful.
I know.
In 2006, when I was phone screener on the Conway show, someone named their racehorse after me, and then they had to shoot it. It was called Gina with the News, and then they did have to put her down.
It's the only
And now
time
you're
they
Gina the glue.
It's the only time in track history where they shot the horse before the race.
How dare you?
I'm really good about this.
Drew, mine is 45-35. That's the Adam Carolla one, and Drew is 45-36. So I hope his hits the planet
Are we tracking those?
before mine.
Yeah.
Gonna have to get Bruce Willis up there and his Roughnecks drilling, right?
I told the story before, but it's so funny. Ben Affleck said to Michael Bay on set, he's like, wouldn't it be easier to train astronauts to be drillers and then train drillers to be astronauts? Like, shut the fuck up, Ben.
Yep.
Well, careful on your way back to New York, Nimesh, because employees at the New York Times main office have been told their workspace is infested with bed bugs.
No.
Officials in charge of building operations sent a memo to staff acknowledging the evidence of these little critters on every floor of the newsroom. The officials vowed
Is this a joke?
Nope. Officials vowed to sweep all areas, formulating a plan to rid the workspace of the pests. And this is a big problem in New York, which is why it's coming up. Hotels, theaters, homes, offices, restaurants.
Wait till
This is
Trump
less-
hears about this.
This is 24 hours after the
Yes.
thing about the writer from the New York Times
Yes.
being called a bed bug and like losing his mind.
There were
over
2 bed
this
bug
outrageous-
stories
Oh, really?
in
Heard
the
about
last
this?
24 hours.
No, who called him a bed? Trump?
He's a
No,
Brett Stevens, he's a New York Times writer, so
he feels strongly about snowflakes.
Yeah, exactly. And so a professor just tweeted it out like in response to bed bugs. Oh, they have bed bugs. Its name is Brett Stevens, and nobody retweeted it. I had a couple of likes, but Brett Stevens found his way to it and forwarded it to like the guy's boss and said, "This is not how you should be. You should be treating everybody." And then so that professor put that out on the internet, and everybody went against Brett, who now has deleted his Twitter and just gone off the grid.
It is always the people who complain about the snowflakes who are the biggest fucking snowflakes.
Yeah, well,
Send it to his boss. He's an adult
Try to get him
man.
fired.
He's an adult man.
How old is Brett Stevens? And also,
45.
Yeah,
also
he's won a Pulitzer.
isn't I don't know.
know.
Is bed bug like that? Is that
Exactly.
his N word or something? Like I don't know. People called me a bed bug.
The worst part is
that doesn't even come in my top 50 of insults. To me. I get called worse than that on the way home.
It's always what you are that you don't like being called. So maybe he was the vector for bed bugs.
He kind of doubled down too. Like he had a chance to kind of like, no big deal. But then he was like, comparing someone to an insect. There's a long history, but shut the fuck up.
But is he called like Trump Hitlerian 17 times, or is he have a different? Is he different? Like who is he
he's more
insulted?
conservative.
Yeah, he's
he's
a
conservative.
pretty conservative dude. That's what I'm saying. He's not a fan of the snowflakes.
He's a conservative, and he's not a fan of the snowflakes, and yet he's turning into a fucking snowflake.
Also known for his contrarian views on climate change. So a lot of people really don't like him.
Well, the extra heat brings out the bed bug. Oh, he pussed out. What a puss.
Yeah.
I hate
He
that.
said it to his boss. He's
on,
CC'd
Brett.
his boss.
Better
The
than
guy's
that, man.
boss. You know, I mean, the
Yes.
professor or whatever.
Yeah, try and get him fired.
Boy, bed bug is pretty innocuous in this day and age. So
Until you get him.
there's an epidemic. So we got
Being
bed
called
bugs. So we have like bubonic plague in L.A. and bed bug. And, you know,
In
we
New
make
York.
fun of the fucking flyover states, but I don't feel like there's a lot of bubonic plague in the flyover
My
states.
mom is resting easy in the Midwest.
Sleeping
Yes.
in a non-infested mattress.
Yes, it's beautiful.
What do we attribute the bed? Like here we got the homeless and the feces and the rats. What's the bed bugs?
Well,
good
when
question.
they come to hotels, you're a transient sort of society at a hotel, so you're taking them with you, you're dropping them off, and then they're just everywhere.
Now you got me nervous. About
I'm
flying.
sorry, I know. Just bring your own mattress like Mick Jagger. You'll be fine. That's part of his rider. He has to have a brand new mattress, and one of his staff breaks it in before he gets there.
Really?
At every hotel. I just read that. I think someone from his team was like, "That's not true. That's preposterous." And some guy's like, "Okay."
The break it in part seems a little weird,
Yeah.
but the new
Someone you
mattress
trust.
for your Mick, why
Yeah,
not?
why not get a new mattress?
You know, my whole thing too, like with your riders or with your whatevers, if you're paying for it,
Yeah.
then you're paying for it. Like if you're going to go out on a tour and the tour's going to generate $150 million,
Yeah.
and you want to
Buy 20 mattresses.
You want to buy 20 mattresses,
Cares?
and that's going to put you out 20 grand, then that's up to you.
But yeah, back it out.
Yeah, back it out. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, just because you brought up your love of plants, in case you go out of town again, I would like Nimesh to have a couple of options. If one thing that stresses you out about going on vacation.
I want to backtrack. Were we? Yeah. Was it Laura? Who had to apologize?
Laura Spencer
with the ballet.
Yeah, that one.
Lara.
Lara Spencer did she made fun of ballet.
She was I didn't think you'd want to do this story, but she was doing the curriculum for little Prince George's school, and it's going to be whatever civics or classics or whatever, and ballet, and so she made fun of him because she said. She said, I got news for you, Royals. George is not going to be into ballet. Boys don't like ballet. And everyone had a good laugh. And then there was a big boys dance backlash.
I'm just saying, people make comments.
One by Gene Kelly's former wife.
But
sometimes they're accurate. Sometimes they're a joke. But most all the time, they're just what they are.
I say, can anyone dispute that the majority of young boys are not into dance?
Well, and that was the other thing.
This is why.
Right.
And that was the other thing I said, oh, God, what did she say about boys who dance? It wasn't like boys who dance or this or that. She just said, I got news for you. He probably won't be interested in it for very long. And that was the big controversial statement.
You could put ballet and replace ballet with anything, and that would be a boy.
Yeah. You could say Fortnite.
Right.
They're not going to be into it for
days.
very long, hopefully. I mean, this is some sort of gender shaming, I think, is the problem. It crosses over and doesn't some sort of... We don't care about little boys, per se, but we do care about the sort of gender shaming part of it.
What's
and whatever.
the fix to all of this? What is the fix? Let's just take this example.
I will tell you, no apologies. The apologies begat apologies. Once you start stepping back, you just keep moving backwards. The folks, I always sort of say, I'll give the Reader's Digest version of it for the people who've heard it before, but I do it my stand-up act a little bit, which is you take smoking. Smoking is hey, no smoking in the restaurant. People used to just smoke everywhere, and it's have a smoking section. Everyone's all right, I'm moving to smoking. And then they went to the smoking section, and it's wafting into the main. Just go to the bar. Bearers went to the bar and smoked, and then they're like, yeah, not in the bar anymore. Go outside. And they went, all right, it's freezing, it's Chicago, but we'll go stand outside. Then they went outside, and they were like, you're too close to the front door.
6 feet away.
And you need to move it down the sidewalk a little. And then they went, no smoking at the park. And then someone went, fuck it, we'll vape. And San Francisco's outlawing vaping. And it's so is there an end? Is there a finish line? Because if the finish line is we don't like secondhand smoke, that's fine. But I think the finish line is we like telling people what to do all the time, and we have no end. It's PETA doesn't have an end.
Right.
When they're done with commercial whaling, they get on to mosquitoes and the Holocaust of killing a cockroach. You know what I mean? It's this only works if there is a finish line.
Right.
But if it's more about telling people what they can do and can't do, then that'll never end because that'll be we're outlawing vaping. Well, this is nicotine and water vapor. Yeah, not inside here. You're not.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not a lot of science behind it, but fine. But I think you're more in love with telling people what they have to do for you than you are in the problem. So you're not so interested in how this is going to affect the ballet scene. You're more into we need this person to get on their knees,
fall in line,
And
fall
she
in
did.
line. She did. And
she spoke to several dancers and groups and learned a lot.
And now he loves
learned a lot.
Yeah.
She learned a lot. I know. No, we all have to go just full Dave Chappelle. Just get up there and do 10 minutes on why Michael Jackson's a hero and why Rihanna, while Rihanna had it coming. And then no one asked Dave Chappelle to apologize because it's clear he's not.
Right.
We go find the people who will. We want satisfaction. So if someone goes to you, apologize, you go, fuck off. And then they go, oh, that's not satisfying.
No one's
but
ever
if
said
they
that
go,
to me. Yeah.
apologize, you go, okay, let me draft up something that you can approve of, then they stand there very satisfied. So we cannot give them the satisfaction.
Well, you have a great example of this from back in the day with the Scientology letter.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am a hero. Scientology, it was discussed, people that they've now pulled the curtain back on Scientology and seen the wizard, which is a little man in the corner.
David Miscavige.
That's right.
But when I was doing Loveline, and it was like I don't know, when that from, Max Pata, 99, 97. It was pretty early on. And we're talking about the 90s. We were making fun of Scientology, and we got a letter from Scientology that basically said, you take it back, man, and you do it on the air. And we've scripted like a conversation for you to have with Drew.
Oh, shit.
And we sort of were looking at it, and everyone at the time said to me, hey, man, you better do it because these people will ruin you. They'll ruin your life. And at the time, I was living up Lake Hollywood, literally above the Celebrity Center. Like, I was picturing this big building I'd pass by on Franklin or whatever on my way home every day. And people are giving me a very earnest discussion on, like, you fuck with Scientology, they fuck your shit up. They'll go to your house, they'll go through your mail, like they'll dig up dirt, like just apologize because they'll ruin your life. And I was like, oh my God. And they had full control at that point. That's when Scientology was like at the height of its powers, but we still told them to fuck off. And they never came back to us. We read their letter on the air and made fun of them the entire time. Later on, I discovered the real ball busters in the room were Filipinos. That ain't a joke. Make fun of Scientology all you want. Do not make fun of Filipinos.
Was this the Guy Aoki one?
No, that's another
different one. Oh my God!
This is another Asian incident.
Another Asian incident, but
It's Manny Pacquiao.
this is a Manny Pacquiao discussion. I literally had Jon Stewart go, oh, you made fun of Filipinos? Like, don't you ever do that. He must have made that mistake, too. They're fighting breed.
Oh, yeah.
And a proud culture.
Upstanding citizens.
That's right. I had it.
Good
people.
Believe me, when you get out of line, I'll be the first person to admit it, right, Max Bauer?
Yep. That's right.
Great shoes on them nurses.
You can't make... Oh, you take that back.
Come on.
Oh, it's okay. He's okay.
That was too far.
You cannot make fun of
That was not Brian
Filipinos.
Bishop
He said
that.
they will fucking declare fatwa on your ass. And they did. And they will. And Pacquiao
strong
called them off.
Christian fatwa.
Yes. They'll come after your ass. And I just remember Jon Stewart. I don't know how it even came up, but Jon Stewart's like, oh, yeah, don't fuck with the Filipinos. He must have said, he must have made some Filipino
Crossed that line
joke.
at one point.
He made that mistake.
Right.
Oh, boy. You're going to get some red, white, and blue letters up in this room.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yellow stars on top of them. That's
All
a
right.
flag, right?
Let me hit, I don't know.
It is.
What is it?
More or less.
Yeah, more or less. Let me hit Castrol. Stronger under pressure. Engines can lose up to 10% of performance due to friction. Castrol Edge with fluid titanium transforms under pressure, keeps the metal parts from rubbing and robbing. 3 times.
3 times, fool.
Stronger than leading full synthetic against viscosity breakdown. This is the Edge. Formulated always to exceed the toughest industry standards. It is Castrol Edge. All right, let's do one more.
All right. Well, if the one thing that stresses you out about going on vacation is that you're going to come back to dead plants, Nimesh.
Hold
I
on.
can help
Brian
you.
Grazer's coming on tomorrow?
Yeah.
Should I pitch him the Doc
Doc
Bollywood
Bollywood.
thing?
I think he needs to hear it.
He has juice. He could
Yeah.
get this greenlit.
We have
Yeah.
2 big stars attached in Kumail and Aziz, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Oh, you need some tea?
Yeah.
I should throw it
Very
in.
parched.
Chamomile will be good for
I
that.
have a lozenge in my bag.
Now,
Bollywood.
Aziz is a double bagger, we call it. But don't steep it too long. I don't want him to throw I don't want him to tear apart his trailer like he did last time.
Oh, man. All right, let's do this house plant thing.
All right. So the online.
Do you know Aziz?
Yes.
Yeah,
Of
see?
course
That's
you
why it
do.
sucks being white. Like, people are like, do you know Jim Gaffigan? Like, not really.
Well, the brown community is like
I know.
6
It's
of
an
us.
advantage.
You know?
It's an advantage. Yeah.
Don't talk shit. It'll get back.
Talk on.
Do you think he likes Michael J. Fox? Has he ever spoken about it?
I'm
or-
familiar with his
Is he
catalog.
a fan of the film?
It's odd. We were just texting yesterday.
Obviously, he'd have a cameo.
I got
you
this
know?
idea, Nimesh.
Maybe Hassan Minaj wants to be involved. Do you know him?
Yes.
Okay.
I could
We got
text
the
Hassan right
Rolodex
now.
nested.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, my God!
We're looking at pictures. Aziz and
And Michael J. Fox
Aziz
together
like,
on a
I
red
got to find
carpet.
someone shorter than me to take a picture with. Like, well, I don't know this cat, but I'll do it.
Oh, didn't Michael J. Fox do an episode of Parks and Rec?
Oh, I don't remember.
I feel like maybe he did.
Or Master of None or something.
Sure.
Doubtful.
Anyway.
You're asking the wrong
Tell him
guy.
I'm a big fan. And, tell him Michael's on board. The way to do it is you got to tell him Mike's on board first,
Mike.
and then that'll get Aziz on board, and then we call Fox and we go, Aziz is on board.
Right.
He wants to make sure you're on. You see how the
And
way we
keep
kind
them
of shuffle.
separated from the lie.
It's a little 3-card Monty, but at the end,
I
we're
got
all
it.
rolling
We
in
get Doc
clover.
Bollywood, yeah.
Right?
We'll make it happen. What's Act 3? We got to figure that out after this houseplant thing.
Well, there's love. Obviously, it's where the love is really found. Now, initially, not so much because she's suspicious of you and Aziz and his Hollywood, his Beverly Hills plastic surgery. She doesn't trust. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Third act always where it looks like it's going to fall apart, the love angle, but then it comes back
He
together.
was there all along.
There along. All right.
Online plant delivery shop. It's called Patch.
Ooh.
It's launching a dedicated hotel for houseplants. This means you can leave your plants at the hotel knowing they'll be cared for by a team of specialists. Patch says they will place your plant in the best possible spot, whether it
Team
needs
of
sun or
specialists
shade.
are unemployable hashers. I mean, come on. That is a job for the unemployable.
I work at the
right?
plant hotel.
Also, I'm not bringing my plants someplace. They're at my house already. You know how hard it is to get plants to a house?
That's true.
I got
everything.
I got
Don't you think
3
it's easier
6
just to hire a chick to come by 3 times a week
Yes.
and hit him with the spritzer?
Speaking of chick, can I tell you the name of the woman who manages the plant hotel?
Is it Rose?
Her name is Rose Grower.
It is Rose!
Rose Grower.
No.
The hotel manager, whose name is, no joke, Rose Grower,
I like
explains that the hotel
Full
is a
joke.
sanctuary for your beloved plants. They will be in great company and looked after with the respect and love they so richly deserve.
out of business in 6 months.
You give him that loan?
I'm calling it.
I do this thing like whose wife is more pissed off, the guy who gets into drag boat racing or the guy who gets into the tractor sled weight pulling? Like whose wife? Whose husband's more pissed? The guy's got to underwrite this shit show. Like I got an idea for a business. Oh, man, what happened to the decorative candle store? You don't, no,
You're
no,
gonna
no, no.
use the
This
spare
is much
room
bigger.
to do what?
Yeah, like who's cutting the checks? Like,
What's Lynette doing these days? She works in the hospitality industry.
that's right.
Oh, she opened a hotel.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. It hurts, and I just can't stop smiling.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Last but not least, Simply Safe. Don't feel unsafe at home. Protect yourself and those beautiful plants of yours with Simply Safe. You get free shipping. 2 eyes at simplysafe.com/Adam. Nimesh Patel, everybody's got an album out, and it hasn't been bootlegged, so you should watch it. Where do we? You can see it available on Spotify and on Patel, Patel 2020.com is where we can go check that out.
Yes, sir.
Available now.
Correct.
I love it, man.
Patel 2020.
Fun. Thanks for coming in. And for dates and tickets, you can go to Finding Nimesh. That's N-I-M. Ooh, I think this is misspelled. M-I-N.
Yeah. E-S-H.
And finding Nimesh.
This says Finding Nimsa.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the typos on the websites is some people
don't know how
can't
to
clear
spell their own
stuff.
names.
You couldn't get
No,
Nimesh?
you couldn't get it. Like you can't get it, so they do
Yeah.
something cute with it.
No, Patel
and I'm not good
2020
enough
is
for
all
that.
you need to know.
All right. And also, you can check out the Woody Page podcast on Podcast One as well. Good sports. Coming up next, go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows, me doing performances all around the country. And until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Nimesh Patel, Gina Grad, and Bo O'Brien saying mahalo.
I know comedy better than anybody in this room. Like, relax.
Stick around. Today's episode of Good Sport